Welcome to The Power of Styles. Want to know which one of Word's most powerful features is underused by legal professionals? It's styles. Styles are a preset combination of font and paragraph formatting. And since styles are applied to all text by default, you must learn to use them and alter them for your needs. In this lesson, we'll help you understand what styles are and how they work. If you're already familiar with styles, we'll show you how to alter them to meet your personal style, firm style, court style, or jurisdictional requirements. We'll cover features which are available for Microsoft Word for Windows or Mac.
Hello and welcome to The Power of Styles. Today, we'll talk about default styles, applying styles, creating styles, and altering styles. I'm Ivy Gray from WordRake, and I'm with Baron Henley from Affinity Consulting. Are you ready, Baron? Take it away.
Hello. So, as you can see from the screen, this segment is about Microsoft Word styles. Just to set the stage here, a complete discussion of styles takes well over an hour, and to walk somebody through all the steps necessary to deconstruct and rebuild a messed up document using styles correctly is about a 3-hour exercise. So I'm trying to condense this down to something much shorter than that because we do not have the time for all of that. So the objective here is to show you what styles are and give you some keys on how to control them and format and get them to format the text the way you want. So here we go. First of all, some background information. There are two ways to format text in a Word document. You can use direct formatting, which is kind of a brute force method, which is how most documents get formatted, which is to say, I select the text, I apply the formatting. So if I wanted a paragraph to be Times New Roman, 12-point, justified paragraph alignment, double space, first line half-inch indent with Arabic paragraph numbering, I would have to apply, using direct formatting, each one of those formatting attributes individually, one at a time in order. With style formatting, I can put all of those things together in one style and apply that to the text with a single click. So, but I think this makes more sense if you just watch one approach compared to the other. So in this case, I'm going to show you a Word document that contains the text of a will. So if I was going to use direct formatting, it would go something like this. Select it, and I want to make this Times New Roman. Maybe I want to make the title here bold, centered, and larger. And then this is going to be enter, tab, down, enter, tab, down. This is going to be Article 1. So maybe I'd want that to be, bold, centered. And then these are going to be lettered. So I'm going to, create the vertical space with hard returns because that's how it usually gets done. It's slow. There's no way to ensure consistency. And, because I typed the numbers and the letters, if I add a new C, then I'm going to have to re-letter all the subsequent paragraphs manually. All right, so it would take me a while to format a document using that method. Let's try it again using styles. So I'm going to open up my styles pane. I'll show you how to open this in a minute. As you can see, I've already got some formatting tools built here. So if I select this and make it title, I select these two paragraphs and make them body text. This is the top of my outline, so it's heading 1. All the paragraphs down to the next one are 2s. That's another 1. That's body text. The next one is another 1. Notice you don't even have to select the paragraphs, although you can. I can just click in it and apply the style. If I want to select more than one paragraph at a time, then I can obviously format more than one at a time. With that, I take these down to the in testimony whereof. Those are level 2s. That's another body text. I made a special style for the signature. That's another body text. I made a special style for the witnesses. As you can see, that is a lot faster. There's actually, instead of it being difficult to maintain consistency, there is now no way for it to be inconsistent. And if I add a new paragraph, of course, the spacing, the numbering, everything happens automatically because that's all built into the style. So, as you might imagine, that is a superior method. Now, what are these things? Basically, as I said, a whole set of instructions that I can apply with one click. They combine 100% of font and paragraph formatting in Word. You can think of it as like a custom color of paint. Like if I take this swatch into paint store and say, I need this color, they can whip up a gallon of paint, that color, pretty quick. And that might be a combination of a bunch of different colors all mixed together. And that's kind of like what a style is. Now, there's multiple kinds of styles. I'm going to focus just on paragraph styles for purposes of this discussion so as not to get in the weeds and try to keep this short and sweet. Paragraph styles, although they're called paragraph, they also control font formatting. Some tools you're going to need. If you're a Windows user, then you need to understand how to open up the styles pane. And you'd think there'd be a button for this. So of course there is not a button for this in Word for Windows. However, Word for Mac, even though Word for Mac is generally missing a whole bunch of features present in Word for Windows, they have a handy styles pane button. You can just click on and open. So in Word, you either have to do the two-handed shift key, Alt Control Shift S, or on the home ribbon, there's a little down arrow in the bottom right-hand corner of the styles group. And if you click on it, it will open up the styles pane. Now, the first time you do this, you're going to get a little floaty window. So let me get back to Word, and I'll just open up a file real quick to show you what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Can we drag it? There we go. All right, so here is a file that has styles in it. Let me close my styles pane. So the first time you open up the styles pane, it's gonna, if you've never done this before, it's gonna look like this, a little floaty window. And you can see the names of the styles in here, but you can't really tell what they're going to do to your text because it's just the names. So what I would do first is I would check the little box at the bottom that says show preview down here, and that'll give you a good idea of what they're going to do when you apply them. And then if you hover over the word styles at the top and double click right there, it'll attach the styles pane to the right side of your screen so it won't be covering any text. And then every time you open it or close it hereafter, it'll show up like this when you open it. Now, Word for Mac, you don't need to worry about those two little steps. That's just a Word for Windows thing. But once you do this once, you'll never have to do it again. So now I can click on a paragraph and I can click on a style, and you can see it's reformatting that paragraph instantly to comply with the style definition. If you hover over the style and just put your arrow there for a second, it'll give you a little quick window showing you all of the formatting attributes that are built into that. Okay. So you cannot avoid styles in Word. This is a really important thing. I've talked to many people over the years. We talk about styles. I bring up the subject of styles, and they say, yeah, I know what they are, but I don't use them. And I said, well, do you use Word? And they go, yep. And I go, okay, you're using styles. Because you cannot turn off styles. Every single paragraph and every single document and since version 1.0 of Word has a style applied to it. So this is, and I'll just give you an example of this. I'll open up a blank document in Word, and I'm going to tell you this is a Word for Windows only thing. As I said, Word for Windows has a whole bunch of additional features not present in Word for Mac. Just as an aside, Word for Mac is so deficient in features that I use on a daily basis, I couldn't even entertain using it. It's that bad. Okay, so I'll put that out there. And for you Mac users, complain to Microsoft about that because there's no reason for them to deprive you of all this functionality. One of the things that I really like that's only available in Word for Windows is called the Apply Styles pane. And you open it by hitting Control Shift S. And like many things in Word, there is no button for this particular thing anywhere on any of the ribbons. It's super important, therefore they hid it from you. Welcome to Microsoft Word. So in any event, if you hit Control Shift S, that will open up the Apply Styles pane. This gives you two important things. It tells you the name of the style applied to the text where your cursor is and gives you the opportunity to change what it's doing to your text. So if you type anywhere in the body of a document, it applies, as you can see here, zoom in so you can see this a little better, the normal style. If I click into a header, it applies a style called header. If I click in the footer, it applies a style called footer. If I were to do something like a footnote, it applies a style called footnote text to every footnote. And here's the important thing to understand about this. That's what controls the formatting for those things. Headers, footers, footnotes, tables of contents, tables of authority, styles for everything. If I didn't have the Apply Styles pane open right now, There is nothing about Word's interface that would disclose this is even happening, but it has always happened. So you type, Word's watching over your shoulder in a creepy way to see where you are, and then it's applying a style. Okay? You can't change that behavior. That's the important thing to just accept and move on about. Even if you find that to be stupid, irritating, etc., it is what it is. You want to control Word, just you want to understand what is Word's philosophy, and get in line. Learn how to use the tools they're giving you. And this is the most important one, styles. Okay. Mastery of Word requires mastery of styles. If you can't get styles to do exactly what you want, then you're going to spend time, at least some time, figuring out why your document is screwed up. Let me just show you how good it could be if you had the styles set up the way you want it. So in this case, I pasted in 3 paragraphs into this document, and they came in all messed up. Watch how easily I can fix this. I select these, I click on heading 2, I select the titles, and I apply heading 2 title. It's that easy. There's no circumstance under which that doesn't work. Let's go back to that again, because it's kind of fun. Let's say this was even worse messed up. It was some weird font, and it was super small, and italic, and underlined, and a worse hanging indent, and 1.5 line spacing. Let's make it double line spacing. Okay. See how messed up that paragraph is? I'm going to put my cursor in it, and I'm going to click on heading 2. Let's do that again. Totally trashed paragraph. I put my cursor in it, I click on the style. Put my cursor in it, click on the style. Put my cursor in it, click on the style. There, that works every single time. So imagine, you get some weird formatting, it's not what you want. It's literally 2 clicks. Put your cursor in the paragraph, click on the style. That's how it's supposed to be, although that's not what most people have experienced in Word. Here's another weird thing about styles. You create a blank new document, haven't typed a single thing in, you haven't even saved it yet. Guess what? It already has 247 styles in it. Right out of the box. They're called system styles. You cannot delete them. Thankfully, you can change what they're doing to your text. So, best practices, don't create a bunch of your own styles. Use the ones they give you. 247 is probably enough, although sometimes you do need to make your own. But in most cases, the game is simply to modify the ones they're giving you to do what you'd like. So here's the weird thing. In order to properly format a document in Word, you need to have, this is maybe the most important rule about styles. You have to have a separate style for each type of unique formatting present in the document. So if you look at my operating agreement here and I open up my styles pane, this is set up correctly. This unnumbered paragraph is body text, unique style. Any paragraph that looks like this in the document has body text applied to it. Top level of the outline, articles, that's heading 1 everywhere throughout the document. Level 2 is heading 2. Level 3 is heading 3, etc. Now, in this case, I did have to make up a custom style because there's an exhibit of definitions and it has paragraph numbering and formatting that literally doesn't exist anywhere else in the document. There's nothing else in here like this. It's a one-off. Therefore, I created a separate style called Creatively Definitions because that's what it's applied to. And that's what I use for these particular definitions. But generally speaking, like title, normal, headings 1 through 4, and body text, those are all built-in styles I just repurposed for what I need in this document. Okay. Now, so when like I get documents weekly, literally multiple times a week, where someone says, I need to use this document as a template. It's a total train wreck. Every time I use it, it's a nightmare. It's a wrestling match. Can you just fix it so that I can use it easily in the future? Yes. So I'm going to build out a set of styles. So the first thing I do is I walk through the document and I try to figure out how many styles do I need? What do they need to do? So here is the first type unique formatting present in this document. What are its characteristics? Bold, cap, center, underline, 12 point after, which would be the gap right here. I'd put in paragraph glue, so a paragraph or a page break can occur between a title and the next page. So this is going to be its own style, and I would call it the title style, which is a style already built into every document. It's one of the 247. Then I see more unique formatting. These paragraphs are all formatted the same, therefore they're going to get their own style. I would call this body text first indent, also a built-in system style. So all of these are going to get a separate style. So now I'm up to 2 styles. Then I find another type of unique formatting, top level of the outline. It's got paragraph numbering attached to it. Therefore, I will 100% of the time for the rest of my life and your life, you should use the heading styles. Now, you're just going to have to accept that as gospel. There's a whole bunch of reasons to use the heading styles when you have numbered paragraphs. Some of them I will show you in this, but trust me. So it's bold cap center, 12-point after, paragraph blue, underline, and Arabic paragraph numbering. That's going to get its own style. This is another one of the ones we saw before. That's going to be body text first intent. That's the same style we already have. This is another one of the level ones of the outline. So that's going to be a style. And then I encounter another type of unique formatting. In this case, level 2 of the paragraph numbered outline. Therefore, heading 2 would be the style that I apply. But that is going to be its own style. Anything that looks like this, level 2 of the outline, gets its own style. So this is what I'm doing when I'm going through the document. I'm trying to figure out, just like you're painting a room, how many colors of paint do you need to paint the room? You got an accent wall, you got 3 other walls, you got a trim color. Maybe you just really go outside the box and you paint your ceiling. Maybe you need 4 colors to paint a room. Word wants you to think about your documents that way. And very specifically, have a separate style for each type of formatting. Crazy as that sounds. All right. What causes, so this is to get to a styles issue here. I just thought this was funny, this little tweet. Dear Microsoft Word, if I'm using justified for the body text and add a footnote, you can go ahead and assume I want the footnote to be justified and not in a different font. Ever experienced that before? The formatting, all I'm doing is simple editing. I'm adding text and I'm deleting text. And while doing so, the formatting keeps changing on me and I'm not doing it. I'm not clicking any buttons that have to do with formatting, but I keep seeing this other formatting I don't want. Okay, if you've been using Word for any length of time, you've experienced one or both of these things, right? What causes that? Okay, here's what causes that. When a document is created in the first place, however long ago that happened, the document that you're using, it was given default formatting by whoever created it. Their computer buried in the document like DNA default formatting. All right, why am I talking about this? Because the problem is, if the underlying default formatting is not what you want it to be, then it'll keep seeping through while you're editing. Okay, I wouldn't even talk about default formatting if it left you alone, but it doesn't leave you alone. Whatever the default formatting for a document is, it'll keep percolating to the surface. And that manifests itself in formatting shifts you don't expect. Like that tweet. She had a certain formatting in her document and she added a footnote. It was totally different. You want to know why? You know what she saw in the footnote? The default formatting. That picks up the default formatting. So if you do a footnote and you get some other weird font and formatting that you weren't expecting, that is a red flag that you have a disagreement. So the question is, how do I even find out what the default formatting is for a document? And the answer is, I click on the home ribbon, select a paragraph, and I click this button right here. It's in Word for Windows and Word for Mac, and it's called the Clear All Formatting button. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's a document. The author of this document was complaining about the exact thing I mentioned earlier. Every time I edit this document, I'm just doing simple edits. The formatting changes on me constantly. What is going on with this thing? And here's what you can do. I select a paragraph and I click the Clear All Formatting button. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what is the underlying default for this document. Different font, different point size, different paragraph alignment. This is what they kept seeing while they were editing the document. So, so how did it get like this? Because it originally looked like this, and they selected the whole thing and came up here and said, I want this to be, Arial, and I want it to be 12 point. And they layered manual formatting, aka direct formatting, on top of the default, but they never changed the default, not realizing probably that documents have defaults in the first place, and secondly, defaults keep showing up, right? So if I go back, if I open up like a simple letter, you don't like this font, you don't like this paragraph alignment, unfortunately, almost every Word user in the history of ever will change it like this. They select the text, they go up here and they say, give me Times New Roman and justified alignment. And they say, there, I fixed it. No, you didn't. You actually broke it to the extent that Times New Roman 12-point justified alignment is not your default. And guess what? In this document, it's not your default. This is your default. This is what you're going to keep seeing when you edit until and unless you fix it. Okay? Just to give you some idea, and I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you. This is frustrating. It's a frustrating subject. And I'm channeling the frustration of millions of word users around the world. Now, the issue is, okay, how do I fix it? I've identified that the document has a default, which I don't want. How do you properly fix it without selecting the text and putting a layer on top? Okay, and let me keep going to my slide. There's four ways to do this. I'll show you two. Method number one. I'm looking at this document, don't like what I see, open up my styles pane. The normal style, not only is that the style that's applied to the text of the body of the document, it's also, if I right click and modify heading, you'll see what I'm talking about. The heading style is based on normal, okay? All of the styles that I use in documents are based on normal. So therefore, if I hit the down arrow here or right click and modify the normal style, I can go, now there's a few buttons up here, 5% of the stuff you can change. If you come down here to the format button, you'll see everything you can change. So let's say I want to make this, Times New Roman, 12-point is, I click OK, format, paragraph, and I want it to be justified alignment rather than left. Watch what happens to the text when I click OK. See that? I didn't touch the text at all, and it all switched to Times New Roman because I was looking at the default and I changed the default. If there's not a layer on top, all you got to do is update the default and you will change it. Okay, here's method number two, and this works for both Windows and Mac, and it's a two-step process, but it still does the same thing. I right-click anywhere in the document and I choose font. I change this to whatever I want. So let's say I like Century School Book, and I'm going to go with 14-point, and I click down here, set as default. Now I get a choice. I'll zoom in on this so you can see this. Do you want to set Century School Book 14 for this document only, or all documents based on the normal template? Let me explain what this option is. The normal template is the template Word uses when it gives you a blank document, which is weird because we think of a template as providing text, a sample document. Not true in every case. If you don't, a Word document can't exist that's not based on a template. If you go into Word and you don't tell it what template you want to use, it'll choose one for you, and it chooses normal. If you want a blank document, you get the normal template. It doesn't have any text in it at all, but what do you think it does give you? That's where your default formatting lives. So if I choose this radio button instead of this one, then all future blank documents I create in Microsoft Word will be Century School Book 14. So this is a way you can change permanently your font formatting default in Word. I'm just going to do this document only, and I'm going to click OK, and you're going to see that my font changed. It grew 2 points and switched entirely. And now I'm going to go right-click and paragraph, and let's say that I want it to be left justified instead of full justified. Notice down here at the bottom, I also have a set as default button. I click on that. I can make it permanent for all future documents based on blank documents based on the normal template, or this document only. I click OK, and you can see here that my paragraph alignment switched to left. So if I go back to that original screwed up document, let me put this back to its original state. I selected this and I scraped it off and I was like, OMG, this is not the font or paragraph formatting I wanted. So I could go to the normal style and modify it and switch this to, Arial 12-point and justified alignment. And when I click OK, now that paragraph looks the way I want. And because the underlying default now agrees with what I want to see in the document, it'll stop shifting on me. And I want to point out, I receive a stupid number of documents on a monthly basis from law firms all around the US and Canada, having problems, tech support issues, that kind of a thing. In about 60 or 70% of those documents, this underlying defect is present. What the author wants has been painted on top. The underlying default is not at all that. And until and unless you resolve that conflict, you're going to have a ton of formatting issues you cannot otherwise resolve. And I'd like to point out that all of that, again, is based on a style. The normal style is what affects all of that. Okay. back to our slides. So if, let's say in this case, I've got a 4-level deep outline, this is a fairly sophisticated formatting approach for a document. And let's say I wanted to make all of this Century School Book 14-point left justify. What would I have to do? Well, all I got to do is change the normal style because all of these styles are based on it. So if I right click and modify the normal style and say, I want you to be Century School Book, and I want you to be 14, and I want you to be left justified, and I click OK, every single piece of text in this entire document just switched to a different font, grew 2 points, and switched the paragraph alignment. The page numbering, the footnotes, the endnotes, anything in here switched. And I touched nothing. And furthermore, because the underlying default is in agreement with what I see on top, and I don't have any painted formatting on top, I will never have to figure out why my formatting got screwed up because it didn't get screwed up. That's the objective. Okay. Here's another interesting thing. So I'm going to go to page 10 on this document, and I want to show you the footnotes. Now, the person who sent me this was irritated with the footnotes because they were the same size as the text, 12 point. He wanted to be 10 point, and he wanted there to be a blank line, a little extra space between each one of the footnotes. So he was manually selecting each one, not realizing that his style is causing this, and coming up here and switching this to 10 point, and then going here to the end and hitting enter, okay? Please don't do this, okay? What you know, based on what we've discussed so far, is that a style is causing this. So your job, if you don't like the formatting you're being given, is to identify the style causing it and change the style. Resist the temptation to select the text and blunt force trauma that text into what you want, because you're going to have to keep doing it over and over and over. So how do I know what style is causing this? Remember our handy speed key, Control-Shift-S. It's footnote text. What do I want to do? I want to modify that. All right, I want to switch it to 10 point, and I want to add a little extra space between the paragraphs. Okay, now as you can see, all of my footnotes just shrank 2 points and spread out. Not only, let's say there were 72 footnotes, all 72 of them just changed. I didn't touch a single one of them. I didn't have to. And furthermore, if I were to add a new footnote, references, new footnote, all the new footnotes are already the font, point size, and spacing that I want. And the only thing I changed was a style. You can see how important this is. So one of the takeaways from this is, when you see formatting you don't like, it's a style, figure out the style, change the style. If you're using Word for Mac, you can open up the Styles pane. When you click on something, it'll put a blue rectangle around the style that's causing it, and that tells you what style you need to modify, and you can modify it from there. Tables of contents also rely upon styles. I've been asked so many times, can you just show me how to do table of contents? Well, no, first I got to show you how to do styles. They go, I don't want to know styles. I just want to know how to do a table of contents. Okay, well, I can't get you there because they're based on styles. So if I look at this document, what do I want to pull into my table of contents? All the articles. What style is controlling that? Heading 1. I don't want this whole paragraph in my table of contents. I just want the titles, which is why I created a custom style called Heading 2 Title. So I know that I want anything to which Heading 1 and Heading 2 title is applied. I want that pulled in my TOC. So I go up to where I've created a spot for this. I go references. Here's another rule of Word. Never pick a sample from a drop-down list. Don't pick a sample from a drop-down list. It never has a happy ending. You're going to spend way more time trying to figure out that mess than if you just did your own custom thing. Please don't pick a sample. So I say I want a custom table of contents, and here's what Word's going to do. It's going to guess which styles I want to pull into my table of contents. And to this point in my life, at age 55, it's never a single time guessed right. But that's okay. It guessed wrong again. Heading 1, Heading 2, Subtitle, and Heading 3. No problem. That's what the Options button is for. So I click on Options, and it shows me all the styles in the document, and I have the option to decide which of them get pulled into my TOC, and the number corresponds to the level of the hierarchy of the TOC I want to assign to. So I don't want Heading 2, that's the whole paragraph. Delete that number. I do want Heading 2 title. Heading 3 had no titles. Don't want that at all, so I delete the number. I scroll down to make sure there's no others. Subtitle, don't even know why I guessed that. It's not even used in the document. Welcome to Word. I'm going to delete that too. I click OK. It says, OK, so what you're telling me is you want anything to which Heading 1 and Heading 2 titles applied, pull in your TOC. Yes, I do. I click OK, boom, I get a table of contents. Okay, now the reason this is gray is because I have my fields turned on so I can see what's a field and what's not a field. It doesn't print gray. If I hit Control P, you will see it's black and white. Now, I want you to look over my styles pane. 2 new styles just showed up. What do you think these guys do? They control the formatting of each level of the TOC. You would think, since I pulled these out of heading 1 and heading 2 title, that heading 1 and heading 2 title would control the formatting of these. Not true at all. Instead, so what happens is, people, just to show you how this all works, if I come down here and I add a new paragraph, so this is my fake heading, and then blah, blah, blah. As long as I apply my formatting to this fake heading, heading 2 title, now I need to update my fields. That doesn't automatically get pulled in. To update your fields, you select the whole document. The easiest way to do that is Control A. And then I tap the F9 key on my keyboard. So watch when I hit Control A and then F9. I'm going to update the entire table. As you can see, fake heading just got pulled in. If I go in, I delete fake heading, I hit Control A, F9, and go back up to the top. Now it's gone. Okay, so that's the first thing. As long as you apply the formatting, you got to update your fields. The only fields that update automatically in Word are paragraph numbers and page numbers. Tables of contents, tables of authority, cross-references, file path name, all the other fields you can possibly think of require you to update them to make sure they're accurate. Control A, F9. So here's another thing people do. They go in and they say, I need an extra space between the articles. So I'm going to come in here and add hard returns. Please don't do this either, because that is not going to stick. Because these styles control the spacing between things. These styles control everything about this. If you do manual formatting to a table of contents or a table of authorities, as soon as you select it and update your fields, it's going to go right back to what it was before and undo all of your manual edits. So if you want to make a change, you need to figure out what style is causing the thing you want to change and change the style. Again, stop touching the text, go find a style. So it's TOC1. I right click, I modify, format, paragraph. I want to add a 12 point before. That's one blank line above each one of these. I click OK, OK, and I get the spacing I wanted. If I hit Control A, F9, that's not going to go away because the styles have been updated to reflect that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, back to this. Here's another weird thing about styles. Like here is a fairly complicated document, a 5-level deep auto paragraph numbered outline with a big table of contents. So if I select this entire document and delete every bit of text in the entire thing, what's left? All my styles, they don't go anywhere. A bucket, a Word document is a bucket that holds text and formatting tools. You can delete one and leave the other. So I can save this as a new file name, paste in text from literally any other document, and easily format it to exactly match the lease agreement I started with, because the formatting tools are right here waiting for me. Okay, so the styles stay in the document you put them in. There's no way for them to accidentally spread to anything else. Okay, we're almost home. In addition, beyond the scope of this short class, you can import, once you build a set of styles that you like, you're editing an old document, it was the best choice for a template for a new document you need to create, formatting's complete garbage, you can import styles into the document you're editing and easily fix anything. Furthermore, if there's 247 styles in a document at a minimum, do you need to see all those? Shake your head no. You would like to see only the styles that are relevant, the ones I'm going to be using in this document. And there's a method by which you can hide the styles you don't want users to see, so they only see the ones they need to see. And then finally, properly set up automatic paragraph numbers, which you call a list style, which can have up to 9 levels of auto paragraph number, letter, bullets, whatever you want it to be. Those can be attached to styles. So when you apply the style like heading 1, it controls everything about the font and paragraph formatting. And oh, by the way, it also gets the paragraph number. Okay, so hopefully, there's a lot more to say about this subject, but this is just an intro, so you have some idea of what's happening. Again, nothing about Word's interface explains this. And that's really the maddening thing about Word, is that nothing tells you what's happening. You kind of have to delineate or figure it out on your own. So the point here is, and here's what I'll leave you with. Does everybody in the world need to know how to build a 7-level deep auto paragraph numbered outline correctly using styles? I would argue no. But the documents you start with need to be set up properly. If the documents you start with are set up properly, then the document will simply work. And that's really like, if I wanted to change these titles, I don't want them to be underlined anymore. Oh, if the style's doing that, oh, no problem. I just right click, modify, take off underline, click OK. Every single one of those titles on every single page, no matter how many pages, just changed itself. If I right click that and I say modify and I switch that to italic and not bold and I click OK, now they're all italic. I touch nothing. So that's the beauty of a style. Once it's applied to the paragraph, you don't have to touch the paragraph again. You just change the style. If you learn how to master and control this, it makes the formatting much easier. That's why I never have to figure out why my document screwed up, because my document never got screwed up. Once you get control of styles, you get control of Word. The important thing is, if you got templates, you got documents you're starting with, they need to be set up correctly. If they're set up correctly, maybe half the time you spend wrestling with formatting in complex documents will simply evaporate. And you usually get to bill anybody for that time anyway. So the less time it takes, the better for everybody. Okay, that's all I got. I hope that made some sense. If you have questions, of course, our contact information is available. And thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for this lesson, Baron.
This video was created by Ivy Gray from WordRake and Baron Henley from Affinity Consulting, who both trained as lawyers and are now Microsoft Word and Outlook enthusiasts and productivity experts. This video is part of a series. To sign up to receive tech tips and training videos via email, please visit wordrake.com/tech-tips. Take Word to the next level. A reader needs a readable, digestible document with obvious structure and logic. Effective documents employ typographical elements such as headings, bullets, tables, charts, and graphics to organize and deliver complex information. Styles will help you provide that visual structure consistently. When you're ready to take the next step and serve readers by improving your content, try WordRake. It's editing software for Microsoft Word and Outlook that will help you edit for clarity and brevity in one click. If you'd like to learn more, sign up to receive tech tips and training videos at wordrake.com/tech-tips. When you're ready to take your work to the next level, try WordRake. WordRake is clear and concise editing software that will improve your writing while respecting legally operative phrases and key legal content. It's a finely tuned collaborator that will help you satisfy clients, win more business, and do more high-value work. WordRake works in Microsoft Word and Outlook. It goes beyond Microsoft's built-in spelling and grammar checkers to help you reduce legalese and wordy writing. It uses complex, patented algorithms to find useless words, dull phrases, weak lead-ins, cliches, and high-level grammatical problems, then offers suggested edits inline. Your raked document will look just like a smart colleague with an English degree has revised your work using track changes. In 3 simple steps, you'll have a better document or email. Try it today at wordrake.com/trial.